Industry-related information has its own specific panel that you need to follow to push out a message in a professional and an ethical way. In our example today, we'll be looking at how Ride Link embraced this section with one of their recent publications, and how you, as any brand that's watching right now in any specific industry, how best you can share any information within your industry. This type of content necessarily doesn't speak to you as a brand. It serves less value to your brand in terms of metrics and so on and so forth, but it's mainly centered around building up your own industry. So we're looking at this example today to understand what key areas you need to look at, you need to consider, and above all, how best and how effective can you take this strategy? Above all, which elements and areas to clear out, this way you do not tamper with them, as they might mess up your whole strategy at large. So first and foremost, you need to keep in mind, you need to make sure, you need to focus on how well the message is. It needs to be soft. All the grammar used needs to be correct. Above all, it needs to be easy to understand. So basically, you're not trying to communicate to everyone, but you're communicating to a specific audience. A general categorization always helps, and it pushes out your brand in the longest run. So we're seeing this post, and let's try reading through it. A very insightful discussion on oil and gas by Uganda Chamber is ongoing with Ride Link in attendance. We continue to strive for logistical inclusion and support with our roles as transport providers. So key areas. Number one, some of the things you need to avoid. Most of the times you need to avoid adding hashtags in middle of content. You need to make sure that these hashtags are placed at the end of your main caption, as these hashtags contain clickable links. This way, when you click on them, they will eventually lead you to a different page, which might distract your audience. So that's one key area. You can put the hashtag at the end and just leave out the content as it stands out. Number two, whenever you're adding a brand, whenever you're remarking or making a general communication, it's always smart to include the right brand. You need to tag it in the right format. For this example, you can see that when they were tagging Uganda Chamber, they missed out to tag them in the proper way, which makes it hard to track and see where Uganda Chamber is or what it's all about. And number three, the number of hashtags need to be limited depending on the platform you're using. For LinkedIn, at most you're playing within a milestone of 3 hashtags. On Twitter, about 2. On Instagram, you can take the whole punch. On Facebook, it's the same journey. You need to balance them a minimum of 3 and below, because too many hashtags will confuse your main message as it's trying to being shared on the whole platform at large. And finally, whenever you're adding attachments, images, and so on and so forth, endeavor to produce high quality material, because it will be easy for anyone to spot rather than they being pixelated. So keep in mind to at least make your images stand out by producing high quality ones, because it will be easy for anyone to understand. And above all, focus on the same dimension, pixels, width, length, and so on and so forth, because it will be very easy for them to stand out. And above all, one final remark, focus on the consistency part of it. If it's one hashtag, focus on that. Remember to tag the main attendees or the guests or anyone that's going to be part of the event. Keep it short, don't use fancy words, it will be hard to understand. And basically, that's how you can produce or you can share industry related content. You don't need it to be sophisticated. Above all, it's serving your industry for the general benefit, not you as a brand in general. Once you do this, you're being viewed as an expert and you're adding extra layers to your very own industry.